Thank you to the organizers of this event. Thank you to the organizers of this event. It is a great honor to be able to join all of you here today in the spirit of our common humanity that we all share. Indeed, events over the past few weeks, global events have shown us that anything that takes place in any part of the world will have an impact in other parts of the world. So we have shared compassion with those in Japan in what they are going through at this moment. But indeed, we have also found hope and joy in what is going on and what has gone on in Tunisia and in Egypt. My name is Kwinjeh. I've been put in a panel to discuss press freedom. Of course, well, there's no press freedom in Zimbabwe. It's common knowledge. But the organizers also asked me to speak about, to give you my personal experience of what I've gone through as an activist for democracy, as somebody who has been in the civic and political leadership that has been fighting for human rights and democracy in Zimbabwe. I listened to Mr. John Dow in the morning speaking, and yes, while the situation in Sudan and in Zimbabwe can never be compared, while what they have gone through can never be compared to what we've gone through, I could really draw some parallels to his testimony that he gave this morning. I left Zimbabwe in 2007 after I was tortured together with leadership of the Movement for Democratic Change. There were more than 30 of us who were brutally tortured on March 11. So it's also interesting that this meeting is taking place just after March 11, and also at a time when in Zimbabwe there's heightened tensions of arbitrary arrests, trumped-up charges against, again, the civic and political leadership. So even in terms of the testimony that I can give of my own personal experience, this is not a very easy moment for me. It's not a good moment for me because everything that is happening in Zimbabwe is reminding me of what I've gone through. I just want to give roll of honor to some of my comrades and colleagues who today are in jail. Some of them, interestingly, for watching footage of the Egyptian revolution, and others on various trumped-up charges. Before I give you my story, I would like us, ladies and gentlemen, to honor these brave men and women. I have Munyaradzi Kwesai, Hopewell Gumbo, Antoinette Choto, Tatenda Mombeyarara, Edson Chakuma, and Welcome Zimuto. I mention these people because so often when you talk about Zimbabwe, when you talk about what we are going through, you know, people want an Egypt moment in Zimbabwe. People have been waiting for an Egypt moment. But I want to say that the fact that each and every time there are Zimbabweans who are standing up and being counted, the fact that no matter how much the repression increases, you have a political and civic leadership that continues to speak truth to power, that continues to speak out on what is happening in the country. I really want to salute my comrades and friends who are in Zimbabwe. I salute them because when you talk of torture, I was tortured. I know what it is like to be in a prison cell, not to know if anybody is going to rescue you. I know what it is like to be afraid. I know what it is like to have soldiers come to your cell in the middle of the night and torture you again. I know what death threats are like because they wanted to kill us. We survived by the mercy and by the grace of God. When I left Zimbabwe, I left with Mrs. Sekai Holland. I was half dead, but I'm happy to be here, to be alive. I'm truly blessed that I'm able to come to this meeting to speak on behalf of my comrades who are not here, and I'm truly blessed that I can speak out. Life in exile, like John Dow has already alluded to, is not easy. There are many personal pressures on me, I'm a mother of 3. My daughter is 16, my son is 14, and my other daughter is 8. It's not an easy life because you've been taken out of your own home. You didn't plan, you left because this was the most urgent thing to do for your personal security. You have to make a living. You have to put food on the table. You have to, you have to survive. And it has not been an easy life. But we survive, and that is what makes us proud to continue fighting because we survive. The situation in Zimbabwe has deteriorated significantly over the past few weeks. And some may wonder, why is this situation deteriorating at this point in time? Why? But we all know, because when the people's power takes place in Egypt and Tunisia, when people really show that when they are organized, when they go against a dictatorship that has oppressed them for so long, something can happen. And this has sent shockwaves down the spines of those in the Zimbabwean regime today. So Zimbabweans are suffering what I can call a preemptive strike, where their ability to mobilize, where their ability to express themselves is being stifled. But what makes the movement for democratic change unique? What makes the Zimbabwean civic organizations unique? Why are we a people who continue to talk about elections as the only way forward for change? I want to salute again the Prime Minister of the Movement for Democratic Change, Mr. Morgan Tsvangirai, together with the team of the Movement for Democratic Change. I want to salute the civic and political leaders of Zimbabwe, because if there's anything, any lesson that can be taught, that can be learned from Zimbabweans, it's no matter how hard we have been hit, we have never thought of going to war, we have never thought of forming rebel movements, we have continued to look for peaceful, non-violent methods of struggle. So in the international community at times, you get the question, no, it's seen as an option of cowardly behavior, but I want to say it takes great courage to keep speaking to those who are oppressing you so that they see reason and so that they see sense. We've had so much dying, so much death at election time. We've had so much going on each time the word election is mentioned. And so what can the international community do? What is the international community? I think it's another it's an issue for debate in other forums. But what can the international community do for Zimbabweans? The violence is continuing, and I think the first port of call is that the violence should end. The fear campaign should end. Zimbabweans want change through democratic means. Zimbabweans indeed have voted for change since 2000. Those have been our Egyptian moments. The 2000 referendum that voted against the government-sponsored referendum is an Egyptian moment for Zimbabweans. The 2002 elections are Egyptian moments. The 2008 elections are Egyptian moments because no matter how hard the infrastructure of violence that the Robert Mugabe regime has is an infrastructure that is so well organized, that is so well coordinated through the various security forces. So if Zimbabweans can continue to rise above that, if Zimbabweans in villages can still go and put their X and say we are voting for change, ladies and gentlemen, Zimbabweans want elections where they can vote for leaders of their choice without any fear and without any favor. And that is the call right now. And what has happened in terms of the global politics, which is really amazing and which gives me so much hope. Well, the situation, because the dictatorship wants to change the subject from what we have seen happening in Tunisia and Egypt to us believing that there is no hope, I want to say that there is hope. Because today the African Union has made a decision on Ivory Coast supporting the people of the Ivory Coast and the decision that they made. That is hope. Only recently, the South African government has come out strong, condemning the violence that is taking place in Zimbabwe. That is hope. So I want to say that the foundation of something is being shaken. It is being shaken. And we will continue as Zimbabweans to play our part in it. The South African government, who are the mediators, have proposed a roadmap for elections. And I think that the movement for democratic change is supporting the roadmap full-time. And there has to be some kind of consensus based on the roadmap that says no to violence, that says no to elections that are going to be cheated from the people once again because of the overwhelming power that Robert Mugabe has in the executive powers. So we are asking for a fresh context, a new reality. Zimbabweans are not, we are not puppets of the West. I'm here to tell you what we Zimbabweans want. It is not the West telling us what we want. The movement for democratic change, indeed, even the National Constitutional Assembly, they were formed by young Zimbabweans who were just looking at a new reality in their country, who wanted something different. And that something different, ladies and gentlemen, is still possible. Thank you.